Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more scary content to petrify you internally. So hopefully you're internally petrified, because if not, I can make you scared. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We got 6 most disturbing abandoned building encounters caught on camera.
URBEX Hill is one of the most popular urban exploration channels on YouTube, featuring raw footage from YouTuber Chris Hill's visits to a lot of the more extreme abandoned buildings in the US. From abandoned mental hospitals to decommissioned military facilities, Chris explores all of it, but specifically places that a lot of even the more extreme explorers wouldn't visit, at least not at night and alone like Chris always does. In January 2023, he uploaded footage of his visit to the now abandoned Paul Revere Elementary School in Cleveland. After almost a century of use, the school was permanently closed in 2015 due to declining enrollment numbers. Although there are allegedly plans to turn the abandoned building into a housing complex, as of 2024, Paul Revere Elementary is still abandoned and in terrible shape. From the moment Chris walks inside, it's pretty clear that the place hasn't been used in years and has been severely damaged by the elements, vandals, and the passage of time. The bottom floors are all flooded, the walls are peeling, the structure doesn't seem too sound, and there's rust, random papers, books, and all kinds of debris lying everywhere.
And he the first one to explore it. That's what I be talking about. Y'all adrenaline junkies are sick. Cause to even want to walk through that rummage of just debris, I give it to him. I give it to him.
Throughout the video, you can see messages written in seemingly fresh chalk on some of the whiteboards.
R.I.P. Paul Revere, 1923 to 2015.
It's none of my business. It's none of my business.
Throughout the video, you can see messages written in seemingly fresh chalk on some of the whiteboards, confirming that people have been in the building recently. This was actually Chris's second visit to Paul Revere Elementary. When he uploaded footage of his March 2022 visit to the school, several people in the comments mentioned they had either been students or teachers at the school and talked about how incredibly sad it was to see their beloved childhood school ruined by abandonment and lack of maintenance.
Oh wow.
A little after 10 minutes into the exploration, you can hear some sort of ruffling sound and other strange noises coming from somewhere in the schoolhouse.
What do you mean by that? Turn the light off. It's too late. You hear that? Whose flashlight is that?
Somebody's here.
Duh!
As Chris turns a corner in the hallway, another person's flashlight can be seen shining down the hall. It looks to be just one person, who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. Still, at 1 a.m. in an abandoned building, it's obviously best to avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself.
I mean, granted, the odds are insane. Like, you know, you're exploring a place that's been abandoned for who knows how long. I forget how long they say. I don't know if it's, I think 2015 is when, like, they shut down. That's a long time. So to go there and assume from jump no one's gonna most likely than not be there and someone's there, I'm sure he got spooked, but still.
Looks to be just one
It ain't a
person,
dragon.
who was likely either another urban explorer or a squatter. Still, at 1 a.m. in an abandoned building, it's obviously best to avoid drawing unwanted attention to yourself, especially when you don't know the other person's intentions, which is why Chris ultimately decided to run instead of making his presence known.
Right.
Making sure to walk in the other direction to avoid running into anyone, he then heads to the library and explores the rest of the top floors. As he goes into the bathroom on the top floor, he has another encounter.
What is that?
Somebody's in there.
So you're not gonna keep running? I'm not breathe. Listen, real quick. I'm not gonna just sit there and then breathe my ass and just hyperventilate. The second I saw whatever existence that was, bitch, it's time to completely leave the event. It's like y'all keep testing these limits. Oh my gosh, I would have been. Oh, I'm soft. I'm soft for real. I refuse to lie over the internet. It ain't that fucking deep, bitch. I would have been gone. You got it. What is that? Oh my god, it just look weird too. Just this built. Just built off, bro. Let's go home.
Scared the out of me.
At the far end of the bathroom, what appears to be a human silhouette can be seen standing completely motionless. After the initial shock of the encounter, Chris draws his gun and goes back inside to confront the man.
Hello.
What? For what? Because I'm not going back in there for who, bro?
What the Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
Toys don't just fall over like that. That's what I mean. You're relieved? Psycho.
What the Oh, it's a f***ing toy.
I would have been going, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, that scared the out of me.
And you still just investigating.
As it turns out, the silhouette was actually a scary mannequin that somebody set up, probably to scare away visitors. What's most eerie is that even though we can't know for sure how long the mannequin had been standing there before the footage was shot, for some reason it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall.
Never. Like, I get it. There's no way science works like that. Just by the sound alone, with everything being that still, it could trigger something like that to fall.
There before the footage was shot. For some reason, it fell forward just in time for Chris to see it, the most reasonable explanation being from the sound waves bouncing off the wall. Most people would have left as soon as they saw the mannequin, but Chris continued to explore the rest of the school, seemingly unmoved by the horrifying experience he just went through.
I don't know why.
Though not before clearing the entire rest of the bathroom. Sadly, some of the rooms in the school are filled with books, whiteboards, and other perfectly usable materials that could have been donated to another school before the building was abandoned. But nobody seemed to care enough to give them away before the school was abandoned. About half an hour into the visit, Chris climbs up to the roof, which in itself is pretty risky. Even if you don't care about getting caught by the cops, there's still a very high risk of the roof caving in, especially considering the state of the building when the footage was shot. Fortunately, he was able to climb down safely, but that's when a strange noise could be heard coming from the other end of one of the hallways.
The safe is still here. I wonder what's in it.
I'm seeing too many shadows and shit. What are y'all doing? Like, why is he still there, bro?
As Chris explores one of the rooms, a strange howl can be heard in the distance, and as he raises his camera, you can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room.
Cause I'll be peeping shit. Here's one thing about me in this channel. If you're brand new, hello. My name's Jason. Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I saw that clear as day. If you didn't see nothing move, you gotta be the most just gullible like, we all saw that shit.
Camera, you can clearly see a shadow moving behind the door at the far end of the room.
Yeah,
by this point, it's pretty clear that not only are multiple other people in the building with him, but now he's possibly being stalked. Once again, Chris draws his gun and prepares for an encounter, but he doesn't find anyone in any of the rooms. After this, he admits he's ready to call it a night and decides to head home, but not before this final encounter.
Oh my gosh.
This is weird as hell. Oh, here it is. This place is crazy. I remember the last time I explored it. Hello?
And then you go upstairs, bruh? For what? That ain't got shit to do with you.
Hello? What? Okay, I know I heard somebody coming down these stairs.
Bro, go home, please.
I'm out.
Sleep, bro. Just
As he
overstaying
struggles
your
to find his way
welcome.
out of the school, the sound of footsteps can be clearly heard on the stairway directly above Chris's head. But after running up and calling out to see if he gets a response, nobody acknowledges him. Luckily, he was able to walk away unharmed and has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently.
Yeah, thank the Lord up above. Listen, never in a million years you gonna see me sign up
The
for
proper
that.
people is
Hell no, never. I don't care. It depends. I'm not gonna lie, it depends. Cause I don't mind getting shooken up a little bit, you know? It just, it's levels.
able to walk away
It's levels
unharmed
to
and
it.
has continued to upload videos of his visits to abandoned places pretty frequently.
That's still so crazy though.
The Proper People is an urban exploration channel owned by Brian and Michael, two friends who travel the world in search of abandoned buildings. For the past 10 years that their channel has been active, Brian and Michael have built up a reputation for being a trustworthy channel that only uploads genuine footage of their explorations.
Oh, that's good.
In a niche of YouTube that's often plagued by cheap, fake footage from people trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, The Proper People has endured as one of the most reliable channels in the URBEX space. They gained their fame from explorations of genuinely cool places instead of faking creepy encounters or anything of the such. In 2016, they uploaded a video of their nighttime visit to the Jemison Center in Northport, Alabama, often referred to as Old Bryce Hospital. From 1939 to 1977, the Jemison Center housed hundreds of psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating them pretty harshly.
No, I'm not gonna lie, this is what you call an abandoned building. Like, when I visualize abandonment, this is what I get. This is like a perfect example.
Psychiatric patients and acquired a reputation for treating them pretty harshly. Often referred to as the creepiest building in Alabama, Old Bryce was closed in the late 70s and has since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world.
Does that say 666? Ooh. Oh yeah, not them doing rituals. Nah, that's beyond me, see? That's why I'm not going in the forest preserve. It's just taking over.
Since been reclaimed by nature and become a hotspot for urban explorers from all over the world. As Michael and Brian approach the location in their car, there doesn't seem to be anyone around, and after driving around the grounds for a while, the two YouTubers get out of their vehicle to begin exploring, settling on the basement as the first area to explore. After more than 4 decades of abandonment, the entire complex is almost completely destroyed, and while some of the walls are completely covered in all kinds of graffiti, some of them aren't even there anymore. With the state of disrepair of the Jemison Center, there's always a chance that the structure could collapse on itself and trap Brian and Michael inside. But as they go up the stairs to explore the top floor, it becomes clear that an unsound structure is the least of their worries.
Whoa, look at this. Look at this staircase out here. Oh. What? There's somebody there.
No way.
Yes, I see their light. They're out there. I swear on my life. Right there. Should I say hello?
No!
There's somebody out there.
No! Come on, bro. Don't fold. Please don't fold.
Let's go back to the car. This way. If it's somebody wanting to talk to us.
Let's go to the car now.
Oh yeah.
As the camera pans to the window, the outline of a person holding up a light can be seen on the staircase on the opposite side of the building. Disturbingly, as soon as the uploaders turn off their light, the other person does the exact same thing, indicating they were watching and didn't want to be spotted. Chillingly, if you rewind the footage to when the YouTubers arrived at the top floor, you can clearly see a light outside the window frame, but it's unclear if the light was coming from the same person who was watching them.
Right.
After calling out and receiving no response, Brian and Michael decide to go back to their car to avoid getting jumped or worse. It's hard to know what exactly the intentions of the other person were, but what's even more disturbing is the fact that there were no other cars in the area when they arrived and when they left, which means that whoever was there had arrived on foot and probably been there for a while.
Oh, that's so weird, bro.
Ridgley Hospital was a women's psychiatric hospital in Lancaster, UK that operated for almost 100 years from 1916 to 2013. Famous for being one of the first psychiatric hospitals in the UK that fought for the humane treatment of mentally ill patients, Ridgley Hospital housed thousands of patients and used modern treatment methods such as electroconvulsion therapy to help patients with a range of disorders, from severe depression to obsession to mania. In April 2022, YouTuber Exploring with Tom visited the site with 3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building.
And see, it's always them goofies. It just be a bunch of them. Just grouped together, and y'all think it's sweet, right? Like, they gonna pull up, oh yeah, we abandoned building, man, we about to turn up. No, you might turn down to death. This might be your last rodeo tonight. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all sitting up here just playing around with it. Think your life a game.
3 of his friends in the middle of the night. Throughout their visit, they were extremely loud and not aware of their surroundings, which is obviously not the best idea when exploring an abandoned building. Keep in mind that most of these abandoned buildings are still considered government property, which makes it illegal to trespass and explore the grounds.
That too.
Still, if you disturb a hostile squatter's home by being obnoxiously loud, getting arrested would probably be the least of your worries.
I'm not scared of you. Oh yeah, well I am scared of you.
I think someone is here now, to be honest with you. What the?
After hearing some strange noises coming from one of the rooms, the 4 explorers call out to see if there's anyone in the building, and this is where things get a little disturbing.
What? Be careful. There's someone there. Someone there.
Just like, let's see what it is. It might need help.
Hello?
Hello? What? Go!
Y'all sit up there playing.
Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Keep calm. Man! What the Don't pull you up. Get out. What do you want? He's right there. What the? Yo!
Still on their ass.
As soon as one of the teenagers calls out, a man can be heard screaming from inside the room. Without thinking twice, Tom and his friends make a run for it back to their car, but disturbingly, the man isn't satisfied with just scaring them out of the building and ends up chasing them all the way to their car. It's unknown who the man was or what he wanted from them, but one of the theories that's been echoing in the comments is that he was probably a homeless person who got upset at the amount of noise Tom and his friends were making. It's probably not too pleasant to have 4 rowdy teenagers burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing.
Yeah, I mean, that could technically be a point. I'm not gonna lie. Even if it was a homeless person, I'm still spooked enough to leave my ass out the building and go home. Because it's not worth my life. It's not that serious. Just people are really crazy, bro. And I would refuse to be there to see what happens when they decide to act out, right? Like,
Burst into the abandoned building you call your home and start yelling, laughing, and swearing.
No.
But still, it's good they were able to get away unharmed.
I guess so, bro. That's...
In 2006, a 36-year-old man named Vincent Fila was living in the woods as a fugitive near Lugoff, South Carolina, after being accused of abusing his stepdaughter.
Oh.
In September of that same year, he saw a 14-year-old girl named Elizabeth Schoaf getting off the school bus and decided to abduct her. Posing as a police officer, Fila arrested Schoaf on a supposed marijuana charge and led her to his hideout in the middle of the woods. For 10 days, Elizabeth was chained up and abused by Fila in the underground bunker beneath the hideout in what can only be described as a nightmare come true. Still, the girl was extremely resilient throughout the whole ordeal and came up with a plan to escape from the horrifying situation she found herself in. If she wanted to escape, Elizabeth knew that she had to get Vincent to like her. For several days, she pretended to be in love with Fila, and eventually the kidnapper lowered his guard, even unchaining her and allowing her to play games on his phone. One night, while Vincent was sleeping, the teenager got a hold of his phone and sent a text to her mom saying she was in a hole across the Charm Hill, that there was a bomb, and to call the police. As it was later revealed, Fila had planned to draw in as many people as possible to the bunker to detonate a bomb and take the lives of the responding officers. However, he never managed to carry out his plan, for just a few minutes later the area was surrounded by helicopters and he was forced to surrender. To make a long story short, Elizabeth was able to move on with her life, and the monster named Vincent Fila spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died in 2021 in his cell.
Wow.
In December 2023, a YouTuber named Big Banks visited the abandoned hideout where the terrifying crime took place. Immediately upon entering the house, the uploader finds something extremely disturbing.
Is it a bomb?
I think this was the little girl's backpack.
Oh, wow.
That was left here. What a sad sight to see.
Oh, wow.
Knowing that happened.
A little girl's backpack can be seen on the floor outside the kitchen. Although it's impossible to confirm if it belonged to Elizabeth Schoaf, it is possible that it was planted there after the crime by somebody else. As he explores the living room, the uploader finds more creepy stuff, including a DVD of the horror movie The Strangers, a Halloween decoration next to one of the couches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick.
Oh yeah, he was going through
Obvious-
it. Oh, not a ripstick. I used to ride the fuck out them. Bro, a ripstick? You couldn't tell me nothing, bro. I was a ripsticker. I was on that. I was on that, bro.
Pouches, a shank, a broken baseball bat, and a ripstick.
He does have a murder.
Obviously, the fact that these items were left behind is much more disturbing when you consider the history of the house. It's heartbreaking to imagine that some of the toys lying around the floor possibly belonged to the girl that Vincent Fila had stolen. Throughout the rest of the house, several objects and pieces of furniture, including the bed in the main room, look like they were placed there much later than 2006. It's possible that the house was occupied by squatters, but because it was empty at the time the footage was shot, it's impossible to know what belonged to Fila, his common-law family, his victim, and the squatters. Thankfully, after being reunited with her family in 2006, Elizabeth went on to live a fruitful life, and the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it.
It's just still crazy how some people are willing to like go to these places and even just soak up the aura, like of being in the presence of something horrible or crazy that happened in that exact location. Like there are people willing to go to the exact place and just sit in it. Like, I can't do all that. Cause it's like, I feel like I'm gonna just feel something off. And then I'm gonna have to turn up on whatever goblin show itself. Because it's like, not that I'm overly superstitious or like weary of just things and like overly apprehensive. It's none of that. It's just like, I'm extremely cautious and careful. It's the same thing. I just don't want to be on the receiving end of like shenanigans or like any paranormal stuff. Like you never know what could happen, bro.
And the man who committed the heinous crime against her paid the price for it. Holton Avenue is a notoriously creepy abandoned street in Cleveland, Ohio. In 1913, the first Hungarian Baptist church was built on that street, eventually falling into disuse and being left abandoned like the rest of the buildings on that street. In April 2016, the body of a woman named Jessica Coleman was found there after she went missing, but unfortunately her attacker was never found. In July 2023, Chris Hill went to the location to record footage of the abandoned church, as well as the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. From disturbing graffiti to broken glass and peeling walls, the church checks every box you would expect from a creepy, abandoned building. As he ventures into the basement, Chris finds signs that someone else had been inside the church, including an action figure of Melvin the giraffe from Madagascar that he mentions he doesn't remember seeing the last time he visited the location. Knowing that he's often not alone during his explorations, Chris set up several cameras throughout the church, and about 10 minutes into the exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor captures something pretty creepy.
That's weird.
Dry. No.
Stairs.
Hell no. Just
Obviously, doors don't just randomly shut themselves, and as it wasn't particularly windy that night, it's clear that someone was in the church with Chris. But after looking around for a bit, he can't find anyone in the church and decides to head back outside to explore the rest of the buildings on Holton Avenue. If the church was in a messed up state, some of the houses are even worse, with most of them looking like they could collapse at any second. Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
It's like y'all be waiting for the shit to collapse. Look at it. This where the Grudge live at. Y'all seen the ring? It's like, damn. Just complete and utter just decay and just like the hoarding of old objects. It's like y'all just love it. These explorers.
Around half an hour into the visit, he decides to explore one of the most dilapidated houses on the block, and as he's in the basement, the exploration takes a scary turn.
Oh.
It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy.
Oh. Oh. There gotta be an animal, bro. There's. Oh, Dad!
Sorry.
Oh, shit. See what I mean? These squatters, bro. They damn near up there with just people I'm scared of. Because if you're willing to just camp in the middle of nowhere or just in an abandoned space and you have no care in the world about who's like, you know what I mean? You call that place now your home. It's because it's like if you're willing to just sit there and I just can't be around that, bro. That's creepy as hell. So good. Yes, I would have ran out too. Cause bro, look at that.
Sorry.
Like, oh,
I didn't know nobody lived there.
messed up his whole exploring trip. I know he mad. That's wicked. And he was right up under him, just exploring, and he heard the
I knew
creep.
somebody was in there.
As he's exploring the basement, a sound can be heard coming from the ground floor, and when he goes back up to find out what it is, a person pulls back the curtain. Immediately apologizing, Chris runs back out to the street, and that's when he realizes that despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, there was actually someone living in there with electricity. Clearly most, if not all of the abandoned buildings on the block were housing people now who didn't want him there, something he never encountered on his first visit. And with this newfound discovery, Chris called it a night.
About time.
In February 2020, urban explorer Ridham Ryder explored an abandoned house at an undisclosed location with his exploration partner Zay Clark. According to Ridham, the house used to belong to an old woman who had passed away. In complete contrast to most abandoned houses, most of the woman's possessions had been left untouched, indicating that the house had not yet fallen prey to looters and squatters who often take things that aren't theirs. All throughout the house, the two explorers find everything from beautiful tableware and silverware to ornately woven tapestries and a fully equipped bar. Based on the calendars they found in the house, the property hadn't been occupied since August 2018. Just a few minutes into the visit, Ridham and Zay find something incredibly sad and disturbing.
Always been worried about something like this happening, and then it did. When we walked in here, we took a few steps in the door, and we saw this on the ground. Now, for those who can't figure that, figure out what that is a body stain. And you can see right there, there's a walker. So, unfortunately, it seems that the woman who had lived here had taken a bad fall, landed on the floor, and that's where she expired, unfortunately. It's extremely, extremely sad to us. It took us a good 20 minutes to decide what we're gonna do here, and despite it feeling weird, we figured we still need to tell the story because this is a good reminder to everybody that you need to check on your loved ones. It seemed this woman had passed and was laying here for God knows how long before she was found. So check in on your loved ones, guys.
Right in the middle of the hallway, a human body stain can be seen on the floor next to a walker, indicating that the old woman probably had a bad fall and couldn't get up. Sadly, she passed away and her body decomposed before anyone could save her, which is a terrifying way to die. There appear to be signs that the woman's family members tried to sort through her things after she passed away, but overall her various belongings are in perfectly good shape, including her bathroom supplies, which were still there at the time of the recording. It's hard to watch the footage without having conflicting feelings. Even though the house is beautiful and you can easily tell that the woman who lived there with her husband was a talented, outgoing person, it's incredibly sad to see how she met her end. Overall, the footage should serve as a reminder to check in on your loved ones every time you get the chance, because nobody deserves to pass away like that.
And that stain is just
since 2020,
there,
Ridham with Ryder hasn't gone back to that location.
Oh my goodness, no, that last one was insane. I never saw something like that. Like outside of crime documentaries, I guess you could say, to know that he's exploring there and to just see like that pretty much being the last destination of that woman's, like, oh man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I like watching weird, creepy things like this, so if that's what you guys also like enjoying, I recommend subscribing. I truly appreciate it. And make sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed this one at least. But until my next video, that's going to be it today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed once again. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye now.